In today's video, I'm going to be putting together some last minute fun and fabulous DIY neutral decor for Love Day and beyond. So if you care to see how this all comes together, then all you have to do is stick around. So these are some of the supplies I'm going to be incorporating in today's DIY. So I have here these 3 rolls of faux leather from the Dollar Tree and these neutral shades, the brown, the white, and the black, which really, go cohesively with most of my decor. So I'm glad to be able to utilize this in today's DIY. So what we're going to do to begin is I have this little wooden DIY heart from the Dollar Tree. So I'm just going to take my roll and I'm going to cut off a strip that should be big enough. And I'm using my little Dollar Tree rotary color, which works out pretty good. I've used it before and I like it. It works better than scissors, especially for this faux leather. So now we're going to take this wooden heart that I got from the Dollar Tree, and this is just a regular one of those DIY ornaments that you can just paint or leave neutral or stain. So I'm going to take my pen and I'm going to trace out the shape of my heart just by going around with the pen, and I'm going to do that 2 times. Okay, so here's a look at what they look like, all traced out. And so now I'm just going to go ahead and finish cutting them out. Here's what they look like. I cut out 1 set already. So now I'm just going to continue to cut out the remainder so that we could continue on. All right, so now that I have my pieces all cut out for me, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to add a line of glue all around the perimeter of my cutout heart, just leaving a pocket open on the bottom. And I'm going to be doing that to all of my hearts. So I'm just using regular Gorilla hot glue. So this will work out fine with the Gorilla hot glue. And I'm going to try to align that heart to the best of my ability. So now I'm just taking some batting that I have from pillow inserts. So I'm just going to use the batting and I'm going to stuff it up into my faux leather pocket here that I left open, and I'm going to try to push that batting as much as I can to get it nice and full, so that I can close it up. So now that I got it stuffed and I push that batting down in there as much as I can, all I'm going to do is the same thing. I'm going to add a little bit of that hot glue and I'm going to close it out. And we're going to have ourselves a cute little Valentine heart pillow, like a little pillow puff. And here she is all closed out. She's cute, she's giving high end, and we're going to do that 2 more times with the other 2, and that'll conclude this project. And just like that, you have yourself these 3 little sweet heart-shaped decor poofs that you can display throughout your decor. Would pop them inside a tiered tray, use them as scatter throughout your little vignettes, however you want to style them. And I thought this was a really sweet way to use up some of that faux leather from the Dollar Tree. And this really is all there is to this project. That concludes this DIY, and I hope you'll give it a try. So this next DIY doesn't necessarily scream Valentine, but I thought it would be really sweet to integrate it together with, along with some of the other crafts that I'm going to be creating for Valentine in these neutral colors. And this is just, it's labeled as a wood bead wreath. So that's exactly what it is. And we're going to be just taking it up a notch, if you will, and, bringing it to another, a more elegant level. So I have some of these green picks, and these are from the Floral Garden at Dollar Tree as well, and they come with 5 in the pack. And then I also have some of these wood curl roses, and I really love the way the neutral wood looks against the black and with pops of green. Those are like my main neutral tones that I use. That's kind of my color palette, the black, the white, the brown, the neutral, you know, with pops of green and stuff. And so I'm just going to continue to utilize those colors, and I'm going to take this up a notch. So I'm going to begin by gluing some of these. I'm going to call them ferns because that's what they look like to me. They're just labeled as greenery picks, but they're like little fern leaves. So I'm going to start by gluing down my fern leaves. I just have to mention that the pack claims that it brings 5 leaves, and it actually only brought 4. But that's okay because that's all I'm going to need for this project anyway, so it'll work out perfect. But they did advertise it as 5 units per pack, but the lies they tell. That's why this ended up at Dollar Tree. But anyway, what I'm going to do, if you see here on camera that this has kind of like a lock mechanism there, the wire that they use to hold the beads together, they kind of just connect right there. So to camouflage that little connector, I'm just going to glue my leaves right onto that connector piece, if you will. And I'm going to glue it to the as many as I put to the right, I'm going to put to the left in the opposite direction. And that's all that's to it. I'm going to start by adding the hot glue along the vein of my little fern here, and I'm going to place it down as such. So as you see, I'm going to start with the glue all up and down that vein, and try not to burn the crap out of myself. And so I'm going to place it right there where that connector is and just hold it down. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and do the same exact thing on the next leaf. I'm just going to run that bead of glue down that vein. I'm not going to go all the way up to the tip because that doesn't really touch the beads. So I'm just going to place it there as such, right on top, if you see what I'm doing. So now I'm just going to try to go ahead and camouflage that eyesore of a messiness with the glue there by just coming over just a smidgen from this side to this side, and I'll do the same on this side to bring it down a little bit. And so that's what I'm going to be doing next. So I missed hitting the record button on this one because right when I was going to glue it down, I burned the crap out of my fingers. So but you get the gist. So I put this one this way, and so now I'm going to just glue this one in the middle here, coming this way. It can cascade down that way as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and add my glue and try not to burn myself again because this stuff is really, really hot. And so, and there you have it. I apologize, guys. I live right down the street from a fire station, and for some reason, every time I try to record a video, they're always pulling out, and I can't do anything about it. But this is what we got so far. And so now I'm going to go ahead and grab my little wooden roses to fill in the center part, and that's all she wrote. So for these wooden decor roses, I'm just going to add a generous amount of glue because for some reason these are hard to stick. So I'm just going to put that right there in the center and try to hold it in place for a few. So for the next one, I'm going to do the same, but I'm also going to try to connect them to each other so that they can have something to hold on to. So because there's not a whole lot of area for this to hold on to besides them leaves. So hopefully they'll attach to each other if you see what I'm doing here. So initially I was going to use all 4, but sometimes less is more. I don't want to oversaturate it. So I think I'm just going to do a little cluster of 3. And I'm just going to add the 1 more on the top and call it a finished project, because I don't want to put all 4 and then have it look ridiculous. So I'm just going to put the last one right here and hold it. And then lastly, to finish this out, I have this leftover faux leaf from the fall. It came in a 2-pack, and I used one on a craft, and I had this one left over. So I'm just gonna steal this little leather tie doohickey thing, and I'm gonna use it to hang my wreath from. This way it'll go cohesively with the rest of my stuff. And that's it. That's all she wrote. Okay, I love it. She's cute. She's giving store-bought. She's giving high-end. But what she's not giving is Dollar Tree, and that's fabulous. That's right up my alley. So don't sleep on these wreaths, guys. If you see them, grab a bunch, and, you know, use your own imagination and create fabulousness. I hope you liked it. So for this next DIY, I have one of these here chunky wooden hearts from the Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to start by removing this tag. And as a matter of fact, I think I'm going to take off this twine. If I need it again, I'll just use another one. I'm going to cut that off. And I'm going to take some of this here antiquing wax, and I'm going to use one of these baby wipes to apply it. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to apply it on and then wipe it down with the baby wipe so that I can still catch some of that wood grain showing through, because I don't want it to be like a solid color. I want to see some of that wood grain. All right, so as I said, I'm going to be taking some of that antiquing wax, and I'm just going to apply it as such and rub it all over. I'm going to do the front, the back, the sides, the whole shebang. And it's kind of rough on the edges. I probably should have sanded it before starting this, but I'm already committed, so it is what it is. But as you see here, the baby wipe gives it that nice, you know, look to it where it's not completely saturated and you can still see the wood coming through. Okay, so now that we got our little chunky heart all nicely stained, we can move on to the next portion of this DIY. But just, can we take a moment to just look at this? This just came out so good. I mean, that antiquing wax works just as good as a stain, if not better. There's no mess, no smell, and it dries so quickly. Like, I just did this in 5 minutes, it dried, and I love the way the wood grain shows through. I just love that antiquing wax. Okay, so anyway, the next step to this is, these are one of my favorite finds at the Dollar Tree this year. I actually used one of these during the holiday season for Christmas. I upcycled them and they came out really stinking cute. But, you know, it has this little rainbow little doohickey here that's seen better days. So I'm going to be removing the rainbow and attaching our heart and calling it a finished project. So I'm showing you here that once I pulled off the tag, I was able to push the beads back, and you can see where they just pushed that twine up into the beads, and they fused it together with a little bit of glue to attach the rainbow. So I'm just gonna take the same twine, and I'm probably gonna remove one bead. If I need to remove more, I'll remove more, and I'm gonna attach our little heart here with the same twine. that it came on and connected the same exact way. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of hot glue and just squirt it right onto that jute and try to fuse it onto the sorry if I'm out of frame, but I'm trying not to burn myself. So with the magic of a little hot glue and my Cricut weeding tool, I was able to push that piece of twine right back up through the bead because I took out this one bead, so I have a little bit of leeway, and that's it. That's all she wrote. Now you could never tell that this heart was not originally attached, and it looks store-bought, and I have myself a nice little chunky heart garland to display, and all I did was take off this little rainbow and stain this little chunky heart, and I think it looks fantabulous. And so I'm going to be styling this in my dough bow with those little leather hearts that I created, and it's gonna look really great, and I just love the way that it came out. So for this really quick and easy DIY, I have some of these color your own ornaments. This is in an 8-piece pack, and I'm just gonna need 4 for this project. So I'm gonna take my 4 out of the package, and the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my hot glue gun and I'm gonna try to plug up the hole here. Because I don't want that hole to be visible. All right, so now that I plugged up all those pesky little holes, I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna hit them with some of this here antiquing wax and my baby wipe, and I'm just gonna spread it on and wipe it down with the baby wipe to give it that stain effect. And I'm gonna do that to all 4 of these little wooden hearts. Okay, here's a look at those hearts after giving them a coat of stain, and I did go ahead and do both sides, and some of the areas where I plugged up the hole didn't take the stain too tough, but I mean, nobody's gonna look that closely up and gonna come. So I'm just gonna do one because they're not quite completely dry, all of them yet, and I don't want to stain my napkins because they're white. But basically you're just gonna take your napkin and you're gonna find the center point of your napkin and you're gonna pinch it as such, and then you're gonna pull it through that little heart in the center, and that's it. You have yourself the cutest little adorable napkin ring to go on any table setting. It just looks like a little skirt coming through that heart, and I think it's stinking adorable. And it was so simple and easy to do, and you can make up to 8 of them if you, depending on how big your table setting is, whether it's 4, 6, or 8. You have enough with just 1 pack of the hearts. In my case, I only need 4, so I just did 4. So I have a half a pack of hearts left to do another DIY with, and that's it. That concludes this DIY. All right, so for this next DIY, I have one of these here decor plaques from the Dollar Tree that just hangs from one of these beaded jupes. And although I like the neutral color, I really like that wood tone. I want to, zhuzh it up a little bit, if that's even a word, and just give it a little technique. And so I taped off where I don't want to paint with just some regular Dollar Tree painter's tape. And I'm just going to cut in with some of this here Craftwise chalkboard paint, also from the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to paint these 2 inner panels, or whatever you want to call them. I'm going to just paint these 2 lines here in the center and leave everything else the way that it is. So I'm just going to go ahead and have at it and just squeeze the paint on. No rhyme or reason. And I'm just going to go to town painting. I might have put too much. And now for the satisfying moment of truth. I like to peel my tape off while it's still relatively still damp, you know, because I don't want it to overstick. So let's just remove that tape and reveal the pattern that we created now. And that's what I love about putting painter's tape on these kind of projects, because you get a nice crisp even look without making any you know, too much of a mess. So now that we got the tape off and we got our pattern, now it's time to move on to the next step. So what I have here is I have a combination of these DIY stickers, ornaments, and laser cut craft cutouts. So I'm kind of torn between lips and hearts. So I don't know. I'm kind of feeling the neutral lips on the black pattern. I like how that looks. I also like how the roses look. But I wanted to see how these laser cut hearts would look too. And so technically, if I use these are stickers. So if I wanted to repurpose this like after Valentine's or something, I could just pop these right off without causing any damage. Whereas these I would have to glue on. But I kind of like the way these look too. I don't know. I'm just like, I'm going to have to play around with them and see which ones I like. Because honestly, the reason why I wanted the lips was because I was going to use these lips actually. And then I found these. Was because I have a space for this in my beauty room after Valentine. I could always repurpose this and put this in my beauty room. Let me see how it looks with the lips and with the roses, and then I'll make up my mind. So these are the roses, and then these are the double hearts. They're like intertwined. I like them all. It's hard to make up my mind, but I really like the way that the neutral looks against the black. That's why I painted it that color. I like it. I think I'm gonna go ahead with my first choice and just go with the lips. And then, like I said, if I want to change it out, I can always do it because they're a sticky back. I'm not going to put any glue on it. I'm just going to adhere it as such. All right, so to ensure proper placement, I'm going to start out with the two end pieces first and work my way towards the middle. And those are going to be my precise measurements because, you know me, I'm a follow by the seat of my pants kind of girl. I don't do no measuring. So I'm just going to go ahead and do it that way and hope for the best, that it's even placement. And this little sticky tab is giving me grief. All right, so that little sticker thing is not working because I thought it was a peel off and it's not. You're actually just supposed to stick it like that. And I'm going to end up having to use a little dollop of glue anyways because it's not going to adhere with the adhesive that it has. So I'm just going to put just a dot right on top of the little tab. This way it won't be too difficult to take off. Okay, so for the final lips, this one is kind of off to the side, but we're going to go with the flow. And I'm just going to lay that down as such, just like I did with the rest of them. And that's all she wrote, guys. This is the completed project. And like I said, these DIYs are for Love Day and beyond, because you don't only have to display them just for Love Day. I mean, I love lips. The lip symbol to me just, screams feminine and makeup and all things girly girl. So I like those kind of things. So like I said, I have a space for this in my beauty room after Valentine is over. And so I'm going to display it there. And I love the way that it came out. And I hope I inspired you. And this is the end of this DIY.